Let's get to the number 4 headline, as people aren't going to like it. They say it's Buffalo over. Is that their window to win a title, or is that Josh Allen's happiness?
Oh, jeez.
Or is it the head coach? Oh, definitely that one.
Yep, that's for sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, this morning, it's amazing how quick things can change. Sean McDermott fired as the Bills head coach. Now, you wonder to yourself, how has McDermott done up there? Because he never really gets talked about. Now, Buffalo Bills fans get upset, certainly at the end of every season, whenever Josh Allen, who's the best player in football, MVP, says that is the case, doesn't win a Super Bowl. It's got to be this dipshit. That's what they say. That's what all Bills fans have been saying for the last couple of years. Then you start looking at his record: 9 seasons, 8 playoff appearances, 98-50 in the regular season, 5 AFC East titles. It's like, so he's the hottest coach on the market then all of a sudden? If everybody was losing their mind for what Harbaugh did. Now, he hasn't won a Super Bowl. But if you just look at success for a team, for a franchise, and what were they before he got up there, man?
I believe they were kind of the poop stain on the AFC East, actually. We talk about the Jets a lot being terrible. The Buffalo Bills were about 3 feet of crap underneath the Jets until Sean McDermott got there. I can't believe they did this, especially when you think about some of the other jobs that are out there. I mean, we were talking about it before. This is probably the first time, at least in recent memory, where there are 2 jobs, Baltimore and Buffalo, that are open with franchise quarterbacks there. Buffalo becomes the number 1 spot, but getting rid of Sean McDermott feels like a massive overreaction, especially with how we were talking about Jacksonville and how good they were, and they went into Jacksonville Duval and beat their ass.
Yeah, Brandon Beane just didn't put hashtag I don't want to overreact, but before the memo.
No.
Yeah, no, before he sent it out there. Now, Brandon Beane has been promoted to president of football operations and general manager, so he'll be overseeing the coaching hiring process in all facets. Okay, so he picks up more power in this. Now, I will say, as we have a couple Buffalo Bills fans around us, they were not like very high on McDermott after Josh Allen doesn't win a Super Bowl. And Josh Allen doesn't win a Super Bowl. Why is this guy the guy who's going to lead Josh Allen? This guy's an alien. He's a unicorn. What has this guy done to continue to do this? That's how Bills fans have talked. Not all of them. I'm just saying I've heard that from Bills fans the last couple of years. Yeah. I guess Beane felt that too, huh? I guess Beane and ownership felt that way. And they're thinking, all right, we got the guys. We need to go win. That's basically the sentiment here. You still obviously have Josh Allen. You still, I guess, Brady's in the building. Is that the immediate thought, the offensive coordinator, because he's a young lad? D, but what are your thoughts on the moving on from McDermott? And did you expect it today? Maybe like tomorrow, we got national championship game tonight?
You mentioned it, Bills Mafia. They have been loud about Sean McDermott for a while. And kind of, if you've been a fan of the Bills, and I've been hearing a lot from them because I talked about the interception, which they don't call an interception. But if you've been a fan of the Bills, this has kind of been what the program is. You get to whatever point, and then you choke, and then you trick it off. And how this season ended in particular, with Josh Allen not playing his best football, him having 4 turnovers, defense giving him opportunities, I'm surprised that this is the time that they felt like this was time to move on from McDermott. Maybe after the 13-second debacle against the Chiefs a couple years ago. But this is surprising to me. When this news came today, now this made 10 fired head coaches. So these teams, these organizations aren't afraid to move on. But this is, you mentioned the era before Sean McDermott. I know they didn't get to the mountaintop, but they did win a ton. And now this job has to be, one of the best, probably top 2 jobs right up there with Baltimore.
I can't imagine what the odds would have been before the season for Harbaugh, Tomlin, and McDermott all to be gone now. And now, Connor talked about it, you have the last 2 MVP quarterbacks on teams with no head coaches, with 10 head coach openings. This is one of the most insane head coach opening cycles that we've ever seen, specifically because of the quarterbacks and all the teams that are available. And like in this situation, like you have 10 openings. Like, that's probably why they had to move so quickly, because all these other 9 are already into second interviews. They're already into second rounds. Yes, you become probably the belle of the ball with you and the Ravens, but you're already behind the 8 ball unless you said, oh, if McDermott loses this game, we're moving on, and you're already planning for this, which who knows if they were or not.
I don't know if they were actually planning for it, but McDermott almost feels like a James Franklin type situation in Penn State. Wins a ton of games, you win all, but you don't really find a way to get over the hump and win that big one. And if you're a head coach, especially if you're a defensive head coach, you need to win early. You need to win your first 3, 4, 5 years of you taking that job, I feel like. Or it's just going to be like, okay, cool, this guy's good enough to get us to the first, second round of the playoffs, and then for whatever reason now, like you said, we have 10 head coaches that have gotten fired this year. That's just the world we live in now in the NFL.
Harbaugh's deal is officially signed with the Giants. Remember, there was a little give and take, so
on a napkin,
we'll assume he is off the – unless he writes a note, we assume he's off the table. But it's like, who is going to get all of these jobs? So good luck to McDermott. Obviously, heartbreak for the Bills.
Other one too, Stefanski. Is that finalized in Atlanta?
I believe so.
I believe so.
I saw some people not happy about that either.
I get it.
DC Youngfly, I believe, was like, we like Shador. We don't like this guy. And that was like a great take. I didn't even. We're trying to get Shador down here. We're not trying to get that guy down here, I believe was the take, which is an incredible on that. But congratulations to Stefanski. Who knows who the Bills will go from here. McDermott fired this morning. We chit-chatted about how the Buffalo Bills fans that we know and talk to, they haven't been happy with McDermott anytime Josh Allen hasn't won a Super Bowl. Is that what the Buffalo Bills front office and Bean were thinking? Or how likely was this if they didn't win a Super Bowl? Was McDermott gone regardless?
I don't know how you define where he would have been safe or not. I think that they had to have a successful postseason outing and another run that ended short of a Super Bowl title. I mean, if they got to the Super Bowl and lost, would he have been back? Maybe, but they did. And it's 9 seasons of 5 division titles and a lot of wins, but they lost in the wild or divisional round this weekend. They haven't been able to get past the conference championship round. This is a year where there's no Lamar, no Mahomes, no Joe Burrow, and they couldn't do it. And, I remember the Denver Broncos back in the day had John Fox as a head coach, and they had a lot of great wins. And they were the number 1 ranked team 3 straight years, number 1 seed, I believe. And when they couldn't get to the Super Bowl, they wound up moving off of John Fox and hiring Gary Kubiak, and they won the Super Bowl the next year. And I think Buffalo felt like it needed to shake things up to try to advance, right or wrong. And I think we're in a climate now where teams see what's going on in Baltimore. They see what's going on across the league with all these, and they're not afraid to make a change. And that's exactly what happened today in Buffalo, I believe.
Okay, so Brandon Beane gets promoted to president of football operations and general manager. He'll be leading the head coaching search. There's 10 jobs as a total now. Obviously, Stefanski gets his gig. Harbaugh gets his gig. 8 jobs open still. Who do we think is the leader in the clubhouse? Is it Brady? And what is kind of the thoughts of what the Bills look like going forward, Shefty?
Well, I think, Pat, what you're looking at is obviously it's going to be somebody that Josh Allen feels comfortable with. And it's going to be somebody that they believe can get them to the next level. Some combination of those things. So is that Joe Brady? Is that Brian Daboll? Is that the Broncos quarterbacks coach Davis Webb, who played for the organization, backed up Josh Allen, and is close with him? Is it one of those 3 individuals? Or do they veer outside that and dip their toe into this assistant coaching pool that's on the interview circuit right now? There's a lot of ways they could go. But I think they're going to want to make Josh Allen happy and whole here. And it wouldn't be a surprise if it's some kind of familiar face here. And by the way, everybody's going to want to go coach Josh Allen.
Yeah,
everybody.
We talk about Brian Daboll whenever his name got mentioned earlier. It's like he's got to be pumped he didn't take the Penn State gig and they maybe didn't offer if he's going to be the Buffalo Bills head coach back with Josh Allen. Good luck to him. Joe Brady in his 30s, still very young. Maybe that's his spot as they move in to new stadium.